story is about John Dramani Mahama because you see, at this time, the National Democratic Congress is controlled by John Dramani Mahama. It's unlikely that another person will be able to win the NDC's presidential nomination for 2024. Most certainly, if John Dramani Mahama wants to attend that event, he will win it. So people are beholden to John Mahama. Okay, now this story is about John Mahama. It's about Johnson Asiedu Nketia as well. The political story behind yesterday's press conference. It's about Johnson Asiedu Nketia as well. It's also about Samuel Ofusampo for the national chairman. And it's about Fifi Kwete, the guy who wants to become the NDC general secretary. Okay, so the story is this. Johnson Asiedu Nketia, keep his photograph here. Johnson Asiedu Nketia has found out that John Dramani Mahama is supporting a new candidate for the general secretary position. Because I'm guessing that the NDC people are realizing that the general secretaryship, which is a full-time job, which is a serious matter, must be taken away from Johnson Asiedu Nketia. I don't know why they are thinking so, but that's what I think they are thinking. So Johnson Asiedu Nketia has decided not to run. He's been sacked out of the general secretary position. He's decided not to run. He's seen the signals. He sees that John Dramani Mahama is currently supporting Fifi Kwete. John Dramani Mahama is throwing his support behind Fifi Kwete for the position of general secretary. So Asiedu Nketia is out. Okay. Whilst he's out, he doesn't want to be out completely. So what does he do? He decides to go and fight for Ofusampofu's position, the chairmanship. That's why Asiedu Nketia is running now. So what he did yesterday was to occupy the leadership position of the NDC on a matter that the NDC is fighting with, if you like, Chief Justice, and take the leadership position and use it to begin and launch his campaign for chairmanship against Ofusampofu because the general secretary is gone. It's gone out of his hands. It's gone because he can't tabulate results. He doesn't know how to tabulate results. He doesn't know how to put people together to tabulate results. 2016, no results. 2020, no results. They are fearing that 2024, there will be no results. So they want Fifi Kwete to come in and do that job. So Asiedu Nketia is out. So what he's doing yesterday is to begin his campaign for the national chairmanship position that Ofusampofu also wants. So here is John Dramani Mahama and Ofusampofu. Now, we don't know who John Dramani Mahama is going to support for the chairmanship. Certainly, he's not supporting Asiedu Nketia for the general secretaryship. He's supporting Fifi Kwete. But here is John Dramani Mahama and Ofusampofu. Look like they have quite a good working relationship. Ofusampofu is still interested in the chairmanship. Asiedu Nketia is coming there. It's going to be a major fight. Because Asiedu Nketia now knows that people don't want him to be general secretary because he's not able to find results for them. 2 elections, he doesn't have results. And he sits on radio and he's joking. He's always, saying sentences that are laughable and that can make you laugh, which is fine. But that's not what the general secretary does. The general secretary does serious work. Asiedu Nketia cannot do the serious work. So they are chucking him out of the general secretary position. John Mahama wants to win 2024. He doesn't have time for general secretaries who can't find results. And they are making press conferences and talking about other people. John Mahama doesn't have time for that. He wants serious people to come there and deal with the matter. Because he has an opponent that is very serious. So Asiedu Nketia is on his way out. He now wants Ofusampofu's job. So it's good. This is Asiedu Nketia and Ofusampofu. So this may be the last time you see them together like this. Next time you hear of them, they will be campaigning against each other for the NDC position. This is the reason why Asiedu Nketia has held a press conference yesterday for Dominic Ayini and purporting to do it as NDC General Secretary. This is the reason why Johnson Asiedu Nketia is going to hold some more press conferences without telling us the most important matter. What are the NDC's collated results for election 2020? This is the reason he's looking for chairmanship because they've chucked him out of General Secretary. He wants to compete with Ofusampofu for the chairmanship. That's the reason. That is all. That's why he said what he said. So now we can open the phone lines and you can tell us what you want to tell us about this one, or you can send to Facebook. We are happy to receive any message. Now, these are the MPP's arguments blaming the NDC, and we'll find out the NDC one as well. Firstly, the decision of the Mahama administration to bind the government in obligations under PPAs unnecessarily executed without regard to the nation's demand and supply electricity situation. Clearly, this represented a risk of saddling the nation with undue financial burden through a discharge of those obligations or consequences resulting from a termination of those obligations. So you get this is what the MPP is saying. This is the MPP's argument. They are saying that they blame President Mahama for it because he took decisions and got governments to create obligations that were unnecessary and that were executed without due regard to the nation's demand. President Mahama himself, he talks about that in the sessional address, that there's a warning that this thing is getting out of hand, so we need to fix it. So that's one of the arguments the MPP raised against the NDC. Another one is that by 2016, the scheduled capacity additions from various executed PPAs far outweighed the required capacity addition for the nation, inclusive of 20% reserve margin from 2018 to 2030. As the PPA committee report showed, this meant that if the PPAs were left to proceed and projects completed, business as usual, there would be excess or surplus capacity. The result was that average annual excess of 1,463 megawatts and cost were going to be in excess of 586 million per annum, or a cumulative cost of 7 billion between 2020, 2018 and 2030. Now, this is a very serious.
Is unjustified. It is but a symptom of a larger problem. It is no coincidence that virtually all the lawyers who have been reported to the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council by the Chief Justice, Justice Kwesi Anin-Yeboah, in recent times are aligned to the NDC. What is the Chief Justice's personal interest in the punishment of NDC-affiliated lawyers that he's so keen to initiate unwarranted actions against them? We dare say that such treatment will not be meted out to lawyers who are aligned to the MPP for reasons best known to the Chief Justice himself. After the 2013 election petition verdict was delivered by the Supreme Court, lawyer Sam Okujeto, at a symposium organized by the Dankwa Institute, took some of the justices of the Supreme Court to the cleaners and gave his own interpretation of the judgment, contrary to what the court had determined. Also recently, when the High Court, Human Rights Division presided by Justice Giftia J. Ado, ruled against the General Legal Council in an application brought by lawyer Francis Sosu, lawyer Sam Okujeto once again went to town, attacking and questioning the capacity of the judge who quashed the decisions of the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council, of which he is a member. Lawyer Sam Okujeto is also a leading member of the New Patriotic Party and the Council of State. Why was he not referred to the General Legal Council for disciplinary action by the current Chief Justice, Justice Kwesi Anin-Yeboah? What about the several MPP-affiliated lawyers, including a lawyer on record who made many prejudicial comments and sought to seduce the Supreme Court during the hearing of the 2020 election petition? The respect accorded the judiciary is one that ought to be earned due to the ability of members of that important arm of government to show equanimity, balance, and fairness to all manner of persons, irrespective of their political or ethnic coloration. That respect cannot be rammed down the throats of anyone through acts of suppression and brazen acts of intimidation. The notion that the judicial arm of government is beyond reproach is but a fantasy which cannot be sustained. The same is utterly inimical to democratic practice and must not be countenanced. If these actions by the Chief Justice are intended to browbeat the NDC and its members and prevent us from stating our views on the performance of the judiciary, we hereby state categorically that they will not succeed. We will not be intimidated. We as a party will continue to defend the cause of freedom and of right in this country. We do not strive to put in place the building blocks of a sustainable democracy only to allow judicial tyranny to rear its ugly head. And we will never be intimidated by partisan occupants of state institutions, no matter matter the cause.
Okay.